Okay, so we have some very credible rumors when it comes to Microsoft working on an improved Xbox Series X chip for their new consoles. This is coming from someone that has an amazing track record and has broken hardware news from Xbox before. There's also rumors of a brand new PlayStation 5 Pro that's in development by other insiders. There's a lot of hardware information here, so let's get into what's real and what might be a pipe dream for some of these fans. So let's just get right into this. Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, hit that small little bell icon. And if you want to go that extra mile to support the channel, hit that join button. All right, so enough of that. Let's get right into this new chip that's being revised for the Xbox Series X. This could be hinting at a new mid-cycle refresh for these next generation consoles that have only been out for a little over a year now. Now, as someone that's had both the PlayStation 5 and the Series X consoles since day one, I have to think that these systems have a lot of life left in them. So while I hear rumors about chips and new systems coming out, I always look at these rumors with a lot of skepticism. Yet with Brad Sams talking about this, we have to report on it because he's a very credible insider that knows a lot of stuff when it comes to Microsoft. In fact, let's get right into what he has to say. Microsoft is reportedly working on an improved chip for the Xbox Series X console, according to a journalist. Speaking on his YouTube channel, as transcribed by Pure Xbox, journalist Brad Sams revealed that he's aware of Microsoft's development plans regarding a new chip for the Xbox Series X console. I believe this is true. I know that Microsoft was working on revisions of the chip. He said, now we are going to see performance improvements. Are we going to see anything else? I do not believe so, but Microsoft is always working on making cooler, more efficient chips because that lowers the cost of production. Okay, so the first thing we have to talk about is that he mentions that he knows for a fact that Microsoft is working on revisions for the Xbox chip that's currently inside of these next generation Xbox Series X and S consoles. That's something I think we could all agree is common sense. Microsoft and Sony have always tried to make their consoles less expensive to make, not to mention make them more future-proof, especially with consoles that come out later in the generation cycle. Yet, the other thing he talks about is the performance improvements, which he mentions might be in the cards for this new revision. Now, this is what most people are interested in because it indicates that Microsoft is pleased with the performance of the hardware as it currently stands. Not to mention, they still haven't honed down what these consoles can do just yet. And since I got a lot of people messaging me about this, I had to talk about it because, to be honest, these chip revisions and these new pieces of hardware are commonplace for companies to do when they launch a massive product like we're seeing with the Series X and these next generation consoles, which is mentioned right here in the article. Chip revisions throughout the life of a console are common. However, it's currently unclear if this chip is in development for inclusion in the Xbox Series X or the potential mid-cycle refresh. Okay, so first of all, I have to say that I think this is just Xbox trying to make the construction of these consoles cheaper for them as a business. I don't think they want to make a new chip that will be a mid-cycle refresh, much like they did with the Xbox One X console back last generation. They're basically doing what Sony did last year when they tried to make the process of making their PlayStation 5 consoles easier and cheaper, not to mention maybe get better yields so they can get more consoles out into the wild. We talked about this before, and it was a smart move by Sony to do just that. Which actually brings me to Sony's rumored PlayStation 5 Pro that's been rumored for a very, very long time, it would seem. I don't know why people are talking about this, but let's get into the rumor because it's starting to pick up some traction and I'm seeing it everywhere. Let's just get right into what is being said. According to a new rumor by Red Gaming Tech, the PlayStation 5 Pro iteration of the console will be released by 2024. Not only that, but it will bring several improvements over the base version of the console when it comes to various technologies such as its ray tracing capabilities and performance. According to the rumor, said by RGT, this new iteration of the PlayStation 5 console will become available by the end of 2023 / sometime in 2024. It brings a 2x performance in standard raster, 2.5 times in ray tracing over the vanilla version, and will be designed to provide a better experience with PlayStation VR titles. The console is also stated to use advanced reconstruction techniques. RGT clarifies that the techniques won't be the same as AMD's FSR2, but will be based on Sony's own research. The system will also use TSMC's 5nm process. This process is primarily utilized by Zen 4 cores and is designed for high-performance computing. However, another source told RGT that TSMC's 4nm process could be the one used instead, aka the process found on Apple's M2 SoC. Okay, so the first thing I have to say is that this is a major, and I mean major, rumor that should be taken with a massive grain of salt. I mean, they just talked about all the improvements that we saw that the PS4 Pro was going to do. So it kind of seems like they're just taking what they did with the PS4 Pro and just adding it with better numbers on the PlayStation 5 and calling it a Pro. I don't buy it. Yet I've been messaged about this and people want me to talk about it, so I had to. First of all, I don't think there's going to be a PlayStation 5 Pro system coming out anytime soon. I say that because currently, Sony can't make enough PlayStation 5s to meet the market demand they have right now with these next generation consoles. Xbox is having the same trouble when they can't sell enough consoles because they can't make enough of them to meet the demand, even though Xbox the last 4 months has been putting out consoles like crazy. So are we really going to see Sony drop a brand new console that's going to be 2 times more powerful and help ray tracing over the vanilla version of the PlayStation 5 while leaving these new people that bought your PlayStation 5 in the dust? I don't think so, especially since developers have barely scratched the surface of the PlayStation 5 and the technology behind that console. I mean, we still have developers patching next generation console games months down the line. I mean, even Sony doesn't understand what to do with their next generation upgrades by charging people more money for them. So no, I don't think this is happening, and I honestly think it's a lot of people trying to find anything that will show Sony has the power advantage over Xbox, which it plainly does. And don't get me wrong, I understand that we had mid-generation refreshes with the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro that came out 3 to 4 years after the original consoles came out. Those were different circumstances and a different story, because the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One came out very unbalanced and underpowered between the GPU and the CPU. Not to mention, they were targeting for 1080p screens at 30 frames per second. During that 3 to 4 years after release, 4K screens were taking over the industry and gaming needed to catch up quickly. So the refreshes were almost needed and necessary because of that alone. And after seeing the sales numbers, it's obvious that the Xbox One X was the far superior piece of hardware and truly took the industry by storm. While the PS4 Pro was a great piece of tech, it was lacking in other forms of power comparatively to the competition. That's something I don't think the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S have to deal with. These machines are extremely balanced and have great CPUs and very powerful GPUs and will continue to be very powerful pieces of tech. Will they pass PCs in performance? Of course not. But for $500, you can't go wrong with the amount of value and tech you get in those consoles. And I don't think we'll see the type of upgrades to the PS5 Pro for some time. I think the chip shortages and supply chain issues that we see have pushed these generations to last a lot longer than people think. We'll be in the Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5 generation for a very long time, maybe longer than other generations prior, because the technology behind these systems is very new, and it will take developers a long time to get everything running smoothly. I mean, we still haven't really had developers leave the last generation consoles behind just yet. That will happen in about 2 years into this generation. Once that happens for a consistent 3 years, that's when we'll start to hear rumors about new hardware that will either be a mid-generation refresh or it will be a completely new generation of consoles that have great power and new tech behind them, but also developers are ready to go and use that technology. No matter what, the new Xbox chip rumor might be something we see in the near future, especially since it's being rumored by Brad Sams, who has an amazing track record. But I just think it's going to be a new chip that is cheaper to make for these consoles, and they're going to put it in there and bring it out, and people are not going to know the wiser. As for Sony and the PlayStation 5 Pro, I have a feeling that won't be something we see for a very long time, if ever. But hey, I could be wrong, and we could get an announcement this year or even tomorrow about a PS5 Pro, and I would have egg on my face. And you know what? I wouldn't care, because I would check it out, want to see the new tech, and I want to see what Sony's working on, which I think would be a massive mistake by Sony if they did bring out a mid-generation refresh. Either way, Let's all just wait and see what these rumors give us later down the line, because we know that Xbox and Sony are going to be competing for this entire generation. And after seeing these sales numbers and Xbox outselling Sony for the last 5 to 6 months, we know that the competition is heating up even more. And Xbox One isn't embarrassed with the Xbox Series X sales like they were with the Xbox One sales last generation. And we know that Sony is going to compete and fight and bring out as many consoles as they can. But enough of what I think about all this. Tell me what you think about all of this. Are you surprised to hear about Microsoft making a new chip? Do you think this will have any performance increases? Or is this just a business move to make it cheaper for Xbox to make their consoles? Will we see PlayStation 5 Pro next year? Or is that just a pipe dream for people so they can fantasize about it? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit that subscribe button and that like button to support us out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. But right now, I've been playing a lot of MLB The Show. I have over 20 hours in that game, 600 achievement points, if not more. I'm just having a lot of fun with it. It's on Game Pass, so I'm jumping on that on my Xbox Series X. I've obviously been playing Elden Ring like crazy because it's one of my favorite games of all time. I'm almost done with that game on the Xbox Series X, but now I've kind of switched over, and I'm going to be starting to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm having a lot of fun with that game. It's very massive. I keep going back and forth with it, but I think I'm going to stick to it. I'm able to play it on my Xbox and have a good time there, and then I could cloud transfer over to my PC or my laptop that I just bought so I can play there. And so that's what I was looking for, because I'm going to be moving around a lot because it's Easter and me and my family are getting together, so I'm not home a lot. I'm going to be visiting people, so I want to bring my laptop with me, and I wanted something that had cross save and cross progression, which because of Ubisoft Plus, I'm able to do that with Ubisoft Connect, and I get to play it on my Xbox and then go save it and play it on my PC. So I'm having a lot of fun with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But let me know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your Xbox Series X, your PS5, or your PC? Let me know down below, because that's what we're here for. It's Talk Games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.